started not with one of the state's witnesses, but an animated computer model of the Avery property, and then the hotly anticipated cross-examination of Bobby Dassey.
Good morning, welcome back.
Good morning.
Did you grow up on the salvage yard that you described living at yesterday?
Just my high school years in school.
That is, you were living with your mom?
Yes.
It was Barb Yonda.
Yes.
And Thursday morning may have marked the only time this trial a witness will be questioned about roadkill.
When did you get this deer?
That night.
And how long, or how did you get the deer?
It was a roadkill. It was hit right up the road from our house.
Now, when you get a roadkill, you can't just take that home and eat it necessarily, can you?
No.
You got to get a tag in this state?
Yes.
From the DNR.
Yes.
You had not hit the deer?
No.
But you saw it hit?
Yes.
And knew it was a fresh kill?
Yes.
So you put it in your truck?
Yes.
Brought it home?
Yes.
That exchange established the date Dassey's exchange with his uncle Stephen Avery took place, in which Avery jokingly asked him and his friend Mike Osmundson if they'd like to help him hide the body. On cross-examination, Dassey clarified.
Your uncle Stephen walked over to the garage?
Yes.
Came in? He and Mike had some conversation?
Yes.
You didn't catch the first part of the conversation, I gather.
Yes.
That is, you did not catch?
No, I didn't.
So you don't personally know whether Mike started the conversation or Steve did?
No, I don't.
What you caught was Steve making a joke about, want to help me get rid of a body or dispose of a body, something like that.
Yes.
That was clear to you it was a joke.
Yes.
Mike laughed.
Yes.
You laughed.
Yes.
And Steve followed that up by saying something like, people go missing all the time, and this girl may have left for Mexico.
Yes.
Did you guys laugh about that, too?
Yes.
Was this the first you learned that Teresa Halbach was missing?
Yes.
But one or both of them, from the conversation, had seen it on TV.
Yes.
The parties stipulated to what testimony Mike Osmundson would give about this conversation if he was called to testify, and defense attorney Dean Strang read this to the jury.
A man named Mike Osmundson would testify that he stated he and Bobby were inside the Dassey garage when Stephen came over. Michael indicated he was aware Stephen was one of the last people to see the missing girl, and jokingly asked Stephen if Stephen had her, the missing girl, in a closet. At this point, Stephen asked Michael if Michael wanted to, quote, help bury the body, close quote, and they laughed about this together. Mr. Osmundson once again indicated he thought Stephen might have been the last one to see the missing girl.
Mr. Kratz, is that the state's understanding of the stipulation?
It is, Judge.
Very well, members of the jury, based on that stipulation, you may accept the facts read by Mr. Strang as evidence in this case.
After that, Judge Willis told the jury they wouldn't be allowed to ask questions of witnesses.
Members of the jury, before we begin with the first witness, I have a statement I wish to read to you. The court has received a request from a juror that the court ask an additional question of the last witness. The court appreciates the jury's interest and attentiveness in this case, but in criminal cases, the court does not permit jurors to submit questions to witnesses for a variety of reasons. In our adversary system, it is the duty and responsibility of the attorneys for each side to ask the question.
The state's first witness of the day was Calumet County Sheriff's Lieutenant Brett Bowe, who took charge of the crime scene.
Tell the jury how you first became involved, please.
I was contacted Saturday night and asked to come to the scene to assist with taking control of the command post.
What is a command post?
It's a central location in a crime scene that we utilize for staging and organizing the activities that we're going to carry out during the day.
Before Calumet County authorities arrived to take over the investigation, the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department, which was being sued by Stephen Avery over his wrongful rape conviction in 1985, was in charge. Deputy Peter O'Connor was the first law enforcement officer on the scene after Halbach's car was found.
Deputy O'Connor, to your knowledge, were you the first law enforcement officer of any county to arrive at that scene?
Yes, I was.
Do you observe any other law enforcement officers arrive at that location?
A short time later, probably within a couple of minutes of my arrival, Sergeant Orth of our department arrived, followed shortly thereafter, probably by a minute or two, by Lieutenant Herman.
Sergeant Jason Orth and Lieutenant, now Inspector Todd Herman, also testified on Thursday, but afterwards in the daily press conferences, all of the attention was on the cross-examination of Bobby Dassey. Teresa Hallbach's brother Mike said Avery's attempt at a joke was in poor taste.
It certainly wasn't a funny joke, and not something I would have said myself, and I don't think most people wouldn't have said it. So, whether it was said or not, I believe it was said because Bobby Dassey testified that it was said. So, yeah, it wasn't funny, and certainly I think it hurts the defense.
Meanwhile, defense attorney Jerome Budig had a different take.
None of these three people at that time thought there was anything more than a missing person investigation. They didn't expect that it would end up with such a tragic ending, and that in hindsight now it made this off-color joke look cruel when it was, I don't think, anyone's intent, certainly that night, for it to be that way. And that's what we tried to put back in context with the testimony today, hopefully laid that to rest.
Recapping Day 4 of the Stephen Avery trial, Dan O'Donnell, News Radio 620 WTMJ.